Long ago, in a quiet valley surrounded by golden fields, there stood a garden. There was once the pride of land. Travelers used to come from faraway towns just to see it because no other place had vegetables and fruits so large, so colorful, and so sweet. The air always smelled of blossoms, the soil was soft and rich, and the garden seemed almost alive with joy. But time can change many things. As years passed, the villagers grew careless. They took the garden for granted, eating its harvest, but never giving back the care it needed. They stopped watering the soil, they stopped planting new seeds, and little by little, weeds spread over the once beautiful bed. The flowers disappeared, the trees grew bare, and the land became cracked and dry. And yet, in the middle of this forgotten place, there grew a single giant pumpkin. Its round body flowed faintly under the moonlight, and inside it lived a guardian spirit. Lumira, the pumpkin spirit. She was not like humans, nor like fairies of children's tales. Lumira was born of the earth itself, with hair like curling pumpkin vines, skin that shimmered like autumn leaves, and eyes that glowed with a gentle golden light. She carried the quiet strength of the soil and the passions of the seasons. Every night, when the moon rose high, Lumira would step out of her glowing pumpkin and scatter soft sparkles of golden light across the withered ground. She whispered to the soil, telling it to wake, begging it to bloom again. She stretched her arms to the sky, calling for rain. She pressed her palms to the ground, willing the roots to rise. But no matter how much she tried, the land stayed dry. The earth remained asleep. Days turned into months, and Lumira often sat at the edge of her pumpkin, watching the stars. Her heart longed for someone who could love this land as she did, someone who would treat the soil not as a tool but as a friend. One chilly evening, a poor boy named Hassan wandered into the forgotten garden. He was thin, his clothes patched and torn, and his eyes heavy with worry. His family had little to eat, his mother was very ill, and his father worked endlessly but returned home with empty hands. Hunger was their daily companion. Hassan sat down near the giant pumpkin, his voice trembling as he whispered it to the night. If only this land could grow again, if only food would spring from the soil, then maybe I would help my mother. He did not expect an answer, but the earth seemed to glow, and before his eyes, a soft light emerged from the pumpkin. Lumira stepped out, her vine-like hair curling in the breeze, her golden eyes kind and steady. Hassan gasped and stumbled backward. He had never seen anything like before. "Do not be afraid," Lumira said gently, her voice as calm as flowing water. "I am Lumira, the pumpkin spirit. This garden has slept for many years, but it can awaken if someone with a pure heart tends to it." Hassan's lip trembled. "Awaken? You mean the land can grow food again? Please tell me how." Lumira knelt to her. Glowing eyes met his. "Not with magic alone," she explained. "The soil remembers kindness, the plants remember care. If you work with love, I will bless your efforts, and together we will bring life back to this garden." From that day forward, Hassan returned to the garden every morning, even before the sun fully rose. His hands, though small, pulled weeds from the cracked earth. He carried water from the distant well, spilling half of it along the way, but still pouring the rest over the dry ground. He spoke to the seeds he planted, whispering stories of hopes and dreams. Days passed. At first, nothing happened. The soil looked just as lifeless as before. Some villagers mocked him when they saw him carrying buckets. "Why waste your time?" they laughed. "The garden is cursed. It will never bloom again." But Hassan refused to give up. Every morning, when the stars lit the sky, Lumira appeared and blessed the soil with her golden sparks. dancing above the garden like a lantern of hope. Slowly, almost too slowly to notice, tiny green shoots began to push through the earth. Hassan's eyes widened with joy. Look, he cried one morning, the plants are alive. Lumira smiled warmly. Yes, little one, life always returns to those who care. Weeks turned into months, and the garden transformed. The once barren land now glowed with abundance. Pumpkins stretched across the ground like golden treasures. Carrots pushed up their green tops proudly. Beans curled along the tall sticks, and corn reached high toward the sun. The villagers who had once mocked Hassan now stood in amazement. They gathered around the garden, whispering to one another. Slowly, curiosity turned into action. Some brought tools, others brought baskets, and soon the garden rang with laughter and hard work as people worked side by side. For the first time in many years, the village was alive with unity. Children played among the pumpkin rows, mothers cooked warm meals with fresh vegetables, and neighbors who had once quarreled now shared bread at the same table. Hassan's heart swelled with happiness each time he saw his mother smile again, her health returning with every nourishing meal, and each night Lumira watched quietly from her glowing pumpkin, her golden eyes shining with pride. But where there is abundance, greed often follows. One merchant, known in the nearby towns for his selfishness, saw the garden and thought to himself, these magical pumpkins must be worth a fortune. If I steal them and sell them, I will be rich. One night, while the village slept, he crept into the garden with a knife in his hand and a basket at his side. He bent down to cut the glowing pumpkin vines, his eyes burning with greed. But before the blade touched the stem, the air shivered with golden light. Lumira appeared, brighter than the moon, her voice echoing like thunder. Those who take with greed shall never taste sweetness. The pumpkin vines came alive, wrapping around the merchant's arms and legs. He flailed wildly, dropping his knife, his basket falling to the ground and turning into a pile of useless weeds. The vines lifted him into the air as he screamed for mercy. Please, he begged, forgive me, I did not know. Lumira's eyes glowed, said sternly, you knew, but let your hunger for gold blind you. This garden is not for thefts. It belongs to those who give, not those who steal. The vines lowered him gently, but firmly onto the ground, leaving him shaken and pale. Trembling, the merchant fled into the night. His greed turned into shame. From that day onward, no one dared to harm the garden. Instead, it became a sacred place of kindness and sharing. The villagers called it the Garden of Unity, for it reminded them that true blessing do not come from taking, but from giving. Hassan's family never went hungry again. His mother regained her strength. His father found peace. And Hassan grew up knowing that love and hard work could heal even the most broken soil. And as for Lumira, the pumpkin spirit, she still lived within her glowing pumpkin, quietly watching. Each time someone worked the land with love, she smiled. Each time neighbors shared food for one another, her golden light shimmered brighter. Because Lumira knew the greatest harvest was not the pumpkins or the corn or the beans, it was the harmony that grew in people's heart. Kindness and hard work bring you blessings that last. Greed may promise much, but it always ends in emptiness.